The notification sound from Instagram had become the soundtrack to their lives. Jonathan adjusted his tie, preparing for another day at the big law firm where he worked, while his wife Samantha was already setting up their ring light in their living room. "Good morning, beautiful people." Samantha's voice carried that warm, infectious energy that had attracted hundreds of thousands of followers to their joint Instagram account. "It's another blessed day." Jonathan slipped into frame, planting a kiss on his wife's cheek. "And we're grateful for each and every one of you who journey with us daily." 5 years of marriage, and their love story had become social media legend. From their wedding photos that broke the internet, to their home tours, vacation vlogs, and Samantha's cooking tutorials featuring Jonathan's favorite dishes, they were the couple everyone wanted to be. But beneath the glossy filters and perfectly curated content lay a quiet ache. 5 years, and still no children. "We know many of you have been praying for us," Samantha would often say during their evening devotions they streamed live. "God's time is the best time." The comment section was always flooded with prayer emojis, Bible verses, and words of encouragement from followers who had become like family. Some shared their own fertility struggles, others offered remedies and advice. Jonathan and Samantha had become more than influencers. They were hope to thousands who woke up each morning eager to see their posts. Jonathan's legal career was flourishing at the big law firm, but he always made time for their content creation. Their online presence had become both a source of income and a ministry of sorts to their followers. Samantha, now a stay-at-home wife, had poured all her energy into creating content that inspired and uplifted. Their morning routines, Jonathan's work outfits, her skincare regimens, their date nights, everything was documented with the kind of authenticity that made followers feel like they were part of their inner circle. Then came that Tuesday morning that would change everything. Samantha stared at the pregnancy test, her hands trembling. 2 pink lines. After 5 years of hoping, praying, and trying, it was finally happening. "Jonathan," she called out, her voice breaking with emotion. When he rushed into the bathroom, still in his pajamas, the look on her face told him everything. She held up the test, tears streaming down her cheeks. "We're having a baby," she whispered. Jonathan swept her into his arms, both of them crying and laughing at the same time. It was a moment too precious not to share with the people who had been praying for them all these years. That afternoon, they went live. "God has answered our prayers," Samantha announced, holding Jonathan's hand tightly. "We're expecting." The comments exploded. Hearts, crying emojis, congratulations in English, Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa flooded the screen. Their follower count jumped by thousands within hours as the news spread across Nigerian social media. From that moment, they documented everything. The first doctor's visit, where they heard the heartbeat for the first time. Samantha's morning sickness vlogs that had followers sending remedies. The gender reveal party where pink confetti filled their living room. Jonathan assembling the crib while Samantha directed from the couch, both of them laughing at his confusion over the instructions. "Baby girl is active today," Samantha would say, rubbing her growing belly during their daily check-ins. "Say hello to aunties and uncles, baby." The pregnancy cravings became content gold. Jonathan's midnight runs to satisfy Samantha's sudden need for specific snacks had followers in stitches. Their hospital visits were documented with the kind of transparency that made their audience feel like they were experiencing the pregnancy alongside them. "Thank you for allowing us to share this journey with you," Jonathan would say during their weekly updates. "Your prayers and support mean everything to us." As Samantha's due date approached, anticipation reached fever pitch among their followers. The comments were filled with predictions about the baby's arrival date, suggestions for names, and endless expressions of excitement. Labor began on a quiet Sunday morning. Jonathan live-streamed from the hospital waiting area, updating their followers throughout the process. "She's in labor," he announced, his voice shaky with nerves and excitement. "Please keep us in your prayers." Hours later, the post that broke the internet, a photo of tiny fingers wrapped around Jonathan's thumb. "She's here. Jennifer has arrived. 6 pounds 2 ounces of pure perfection. Thank you, God. Thank you for your prayers. We're parents." The internet exploded with joy. Congratulations poured in from celebrities, fellow influencers, and thousands of followers who felt they had been part of this journey from the beginning. Their DMs overflowed with gifts being sent to the hospital. Local and international brands reached out with baby product collaborations. Jennifer was perfect. Cool, bubbling, beautiful, just as they had dreamed. Her first Instagram appearance, wrapped in a pink blanket with her tiny face peaceful in sleep, garnered over 100,000 likes within an hour. The early weeks were a whirlwind of content. Jennifer's first smile, her feeding times, diaper changes, and sleepy moments were all shared with their adoring audience. Samantha documented her postpartum journey with the same honesty she had shown throughout pregnancy. But gradually, something began to change. The daily posts became every other day, then twice a week. Jennifer, who had been featured prominently in their content, appeared less and less frequently. Their usual energy seemed dimmed, replaced by attention their most observant followers began to notice. "Where's baby Jennifer?" became a common comment. "We miss seeing the little princess," others wrote. "Hope everything is okay with the family." Finally, after weeks of speculation, Jonathan and Samantha appeared in a video that was markedly different from their usual upbeat content. Both looked exhausted, stressed, and worried. "We need to share something with you," Samantha began, her voice barely above a whisper. "We've been in and out of the hospital for the past few months." Jonathan took her hand. "Jennifer has been having some health challenges. She suddenly started showing signs of asthma, and it's been getting progressively worse." The revelation sent shockwaves through their follower base. Comments flooded in with concern, questions, and offers of help. "The doctors have run every test imaginable," Samantha continued, tears beginning to fall. "They can't find a specific cause. What started as mild breathing difficulties has become critical. We've tried everything, different medications, specialists, changing our environment, but nothing is working." Jonathan's voice cracked as he spoke. "Our baby is struggling to breathe, and we don't know what else to do. We're asking for your help. If anyone has suggestions, treatments we haven't tried, doctors we should see, please, we're desperate." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Their comment section became a repository of medical advice, personal testimonies, and referrals to specialists across the country and beyond. Followers shared their own experiences with childhood asthma, traditional remedies, and contacts for renowned pediatric pulmonologists. Among the hundreds of suggestions came a direct message that would change everything. "Cousin Jonathan, it's me, your distant cousin. I heard about Jennifer's condition. I know this might sound unusual, but there's a spiritual man I think you should meet. He's helped many families with unexplained illnesses, especially in children. I know you and Samantha aren't particularly religious, but maybe it's worth trying." Jonathan showed the message to Samantha. They had exhausted medical options and were willing to try anything. "What do we have to lose?" Samantha said, her desperation evident. The spiritual man lived in a modest house, his compound filled with people seeking various forms of help. When Jonathan and Samantha arrived with baby Jennifer, he welcomed them with a knowing look. The moment his eyes fell on Jennifer, he began chanting in a language they didn't recognize. His expression grew grave, and he started shaking his head. "What's happening?" Jonathan asked, alarmed by the man's reaction. The spiritual man's eyes remained fixed on the baby. "This child, someone has placed a curse on her." Samantha's blood ran cold. "A curse? What do you mean? During the time you were sharing your happiness, posting your joy for the world to see, someone was watching. Someone whose heart was filled with bitterness and envy. They couldn't bear to see your family's happiness, so they sent darkness toward your child. Jonathan, the lawyer in him skeptical, pressed for more details. How can you be sure of this? The spiritual man disappeared into his inner room and returned with an old, ornate mirror. Look into this mirror. It will show you the face of the person responsible. Samantha and Jonathan leaned forward, their hearts pounding. In the mirror's reflection, a woman's face appeared, someone they didn't immediately recognize. You need to find this woman, the spiritual man said solemnly. She is the source of your child's suffering. Until she removes the curse or is confronted with her actions, your daughter will continue to suffer. The couple left the spiritual man's house with more questions than answers, but also with a strange sense of hope. They had a face, even if they didn't have a name. Back home, they began the painstaking process of going through their followers list, examining profile pictures, scrolling through comments on their posts from the past year. For weeks, they searched, comparing every face to the image they had seen in the mirror. Finally, Samantha found her. Jonathan, come here, she called out one evening, her laptop open on the dining table. I think this is her. The profile belonged to someone named Gift. Her account was sparse, with few posts and even fewer followers. In the comments section of their pregnancy announcement and Jennifer's birth posts, she had left congratulatory messages that seemed genuine at the time. But we don't know her, Jonathan said, studying the profile. She seems like just another follower. The spiritual man said we need to find her and confront her. But we can't just accuse a stranger of cursing our child. They decided on a strategy. Jonathan and Samantha announced a special campaign to give back to their followers, a business grant for one lucky winner. All followers had to do was submit an application explaining their current situation and how the money would help them. They waited, hoping Gift would apply. Days passed, and while hundreds of applications poured in, Gift's was not among them. She's not participating, Samantha observed. Then we'll have to reach out to her directly, Jonathan decided. They sent Gift a direct message. Congratulations. You've been randomly selected as the winner of our business grant campaign. We'd love to have you come to our house to finalize the process and present you with the check. Gift's response was immediate and grateful. Oh my God. Thank you so much. I can't believe this is happening. I've been jobless for months and was too ashamed to apply for the campaign. Thank you for choosing me. This is an answer to my prayers. They scheduled the meeting for the following Saturday and made arrangements for the spiritual man to be present, hidden until the right moment. Saturday arrived with an unusual tension in the air. Gift knocked on their door at exactly 2 p.m., dressed in her best outfit and carrying a small handbag. She was younger than they had expected, probably in her late 20s, with a face that seemed kind but worn by hardship. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Gift said as they welcomed her into their living room. I've been following your page for over 2 years. Your love story inspired me, and when Jennifer was born, I felt like I was celebrating with family. She sat on their couch, accepting the offered drink, and began sharing her story. Life has been really difficult for me lately. I lost my job about 8 months ago, and since then, it's been one struggle after another. I've been applying for jobs, doing small businesses that never seem to work out. Some days, I don't even have money for food. As she spoke, Samantha and Jonathan exchanged glances. This woman seemed genuinely struggling, genuinely grateful. Could she really be responsible for their daughter's suffering? Your posts, Gift continued, sometimes they were the only bright spot in my day. Seeing your happiness, your beautiful home, your love for each other, it gave me hope that things could get better. Then the spiritual man emerged from the back room. Gift's face went pale. Who is this? What's happening? Jonathan and Samantha's demeanor changed completely. Gift, we brought you here because we know what you did to our daughter. What? I don't understand. You cursed our child, Samantha said, her voice steady but firm. "Our daughter has been critically ill with asthma that doctors can't explain. We've discovered that someone sent spiritual harm her way out of jealousy and bitterness." Gift's eyes darted between them and the spiritual man. "This is crazy. I would never do such a thing. I don't even know how to curse anyone." The spiritual man stepped forward. "The mirror doesn't lie, and the spirits have revealed your face. Confess what you have done so this child can be healed." "I didn't do anything," Gift protested, but her voice had lost its earlier confidence. "Gift," Jonathan said, his lawyer instincts kicking in, "we have evidence. We know it was you. The question is whether you're going to continue lying or tell us the truth so we can help our daughter." For several minutes, Gift maintained her innocence. But as the spiritual man began chanting and the pressure mounted, her composure cracked. Okay, stop," she finally cried out, tears streaming down her face. "Yes, I did it. But I didn't think it would actually work. I didn't think anything would really happen." The room fell silent except for Gift sobbing. "I was so angry," she continued, her words tumbling out between tears. "I was jobless, hungry, my rent was due, and I had nowhere to turn. Then I would open Instagram and see you two with your perfect life, your beautiful home, your expensive clothes, your fancy dates. When you announced the pregnancy, I was happy for you at first, but then I started feeling bitter." She wiped her nose with the back of her hand. "Every day, you would post about your cravings, your hospital visits in private facilities I could never afford, your baby shower with all those expensive gifts. It felt like you were mocking people like me who have nothing. I know that wasn't your intention, but that's how it felt." Samantha was crying now too, though she wasn't sure if it was from relief at finally having answers or heartbreak at the revelation. "So one night," Gift continued, "I was particularly angry and hungry. I had seen your post about feeling Jennifer kick for the first time, and something just snapped in me. I went to see an old woman in my neighborhood who people say knows about these spiritual things. I told her about how frustrated I was, and she gave me something to do. She said if I cursed the baby, your happiness would be destroyed like mine was." "How could you?" Jonathan asked, his voice filled with pain. "How could you wish harm on an innocent child? I thought if I couldn't be happy, why should anyone else be? I know it was wrong, but I was so desperate and angry. I never imagined the curse would actually work, or that it would be so serious. When I saw your posts about Jennifer being sick, I felt terrible, but I didn't know how to undo what I had done." The spiritual man had been listening intently. "The curse can be broken, but only if she genuinely repents and asks for forgiveness." Jonathan was already on his phone. "I'm calling the police. What you did is attempted murder. Please," Gift begged, "I'll do anything to fix this. I'll remove the curse. I'll confess publicly. Just please help me undo what I've done." The spiritual man nodded to Jonathan and Samantha. "Let her remove the curse first. The child's healing is more important than punishment right now." Under the spiritual man's guidance, Gift went through a ritual of confession and repentance. She renounced the curse, asked for forgiveness from God, from Jonathan and Samantha, and from baby Jennifer. The spiritual man then performed cleansing prayers over Jennifer, who had been sleeping peacefully in her crib throughout the confrontation. Despite her cooperation in removing the curse, Jonathan and Samantha still called the police. Gift was arrested on charges related to endangering a child through spiritual harm, an unusual case that would later make headlines in local news. In the weeks that followed, something miraculous happened. Jennifer's breathing improved dramatically. The critical asthma symptoms that had baffled doctors began to disappear. Within a month, she was completely healthy, sleeping peacefully through the night and developing normally for her age. The doctors, while confused by the sudden and complete recovery, were overjoyed. "It's medically unexplainable," Jennifer's pediatrician told them, "but we're grateful for whatever caused this turnaround." Jonathan and Samantha decided to share the entire story with their followers. The revelation video, where they explained about the spiritual attack and its resolution, became one of the most watched Nigerian social media posts of the year. "We want you to know that not everyone who follows you wishes you well," Samantha warned their audience. "Be careful what you share, and always pray for protection over your family." The story sparked nationwide conversations about social media, envy, and spiritual warfare. Some followers left, uncomfortable with the spiritual aspects of the revelation. But many more stayed, grateful for the transparency and the lesson about the hidden dangers of online fame. Gift eventually served 6 months in prison and underwent counseling. Upon her release, she reached out to Jonathan and Samantha to apologize again and to thank them for not pressing for a harsher sentence. She had found a job and was working to rebuild her life. Jennifer, now a healthy, bubbling toddler, appeared in their content again, but Jonathan and Samantha were more selective about what they shared. They had learned that their perfect life, while a blessing to many, could also be a source of pain for others. "Every blessing comes with responsibility," Jonathan reflected in one of their later videos. "We're grateful for your support, but we also pray for wisdom in how we share our lives with you." Their follower count had grown to over 1 million, but more importantly, their story had become a testimony of faith, resilience, and restoration. Baby Jennifer's laughter now filled their home again, and Jonathan and Samantha had learned that sometimes the greatest battles are fought not in the physical realm, but in the spiritual one. The curse had been broken, but the lessons learned would last a lifetime. Hope you learned something valuable from today's story. Stay tuned as we bring more interesting tales your way. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know when we post. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Your support means a lot.